Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Morning Musings. Happy Wednesday morning to you. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma. Really appreciate you being with me. Look, folks, please do yourself a huge favor. Get these two books. Elijah Has Come. Do you realize, I've said this on many occasions, and I got to tell you, a ton of people who have ordered this book, some of them have been skeptical about the statement that I'm about to make. But after reading the book, they were going, holy cow, I see what you're saying. And it's absolutely true. So what's the statement? I believe that apart from, separate from Jesus and Paul, I believe that John the Baptizer, as Elijah, is the most significant eschatological figure in the entire New Testament. You may be going, say what? Well, I'm telling you, once you see the relationship between John the Baptizer as Elijah and eschatology, you can't unsee it. And by the way, same way with this book. Jesus said, Luke chapter 21, verse 22, and just this last week I had some exchanges with some people who were telling us that I think it's May of 2026, isn't it? Seems like that's right. Anyway, coming up pretty soon, that we're being assured in one video after another on YouTube. Oh, at that time, all biblical prophecy is going to come to a head, and that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't we just go through this back last year in September and October? Didn't we just go through that with thousands of people saying, by the way, what happened to that so-called prophet, so-called apostle who said the Lord spoke to him directly and assured him that the rapture was going to be last year? Whatever happened to him? Oh, and what happened to those countless numbers of people who said, oh, my goodness, I've had a dream, and the Lord told me the rapture is going to be on the date given. I've even forgotten now it was the 25th or something like that. Where did they go? Oh, you know what? Oh, a couple of them came back on and said, well, I sure thought the Lord spoke to me. And my kid had a dream. It had to be true, so I don't know what happened. Well, I'll tell you what happened, ladies and gentlemen. The Lord didn't speak to them. And their kid might have had a dream suggested to them by their parents and others, having an impact on their subconscious. But God didn't talk to them. You know how I know? I know because the rapture didn't occur. Now, they can offer one exercise, they can offer one excuse after another, and it all comes down to the same reality. They were making a false prediction. But Jesus said, in the fall of Jerusalem, in the Jewish war and consummating in the destruction, these be the days in which all things written must be fulfilled. Shouldn't we accept Jesus' word? And I've heard people say, well, yeah, all of the predictions about the fall of Jerusalem would be fulfilled. I agree with that. I sure do. But do you realize that every eschatological tenet, every eschatological doctrine, judgment, resurrection, salvation, kingdom, new creation, as we're about to see, is set within the direct context of the time of the judgment of Old Covenant Israel and Jerusalem. Every one of the tenets, ladies and gentlemen. Look, this is, quote, earth-shattering, unquote, insofar as all preterist paradigms, eschatological paradigms are concerned. So let me put it like this. If it is true that every eschatological tenet, every eschatological doctrine, including judgment, resurrection, parousia, etc., is associated with the time of the judgment of Old Covenant Jerusalem, then it must be true that either, point number one, since the destruction of Jerusalem occurred in AD 70, every single one of those eschatological tenets are fulfilled, therefore there is no futurist eschatology. Or point number two, there is coming a time in our future in which Jerusalem and the temple will be utterly destroyed. It's one of the two. Since there is no temple in Jerusalem, excuse the brief digression, and there will not be one sanctioned by God, period, then that means that just as Jesus said of the first century destruction, those were the days of the fulfillment of all prophecy. Okay. I just made a statement that most people just, 99.9% of all futurists are completely and totally either unaware of it or they've shunted that off into a corner, off to the side, and said, well, it just can't be true. When Jesus said these are the days in which all things that have been written must be fulfilled, then surely, as Kenneth Gentry wrote, Kenneth Gentry in his book, He Shall Have Dominion, 2009 version, said, well, the preterists are just so naive. They're just so ignorant because they go to Luke chapter 21 and verse 22 and they see it says, these are the days in which all things that are written must be fulfilled. And they're so ignorant, they fail to look at the Greek. Because, he says, in the Septuagint of the Old, which is the Greek Old Testament, it talks about all things being fulfilled in the last days, etc., etc. And in the Old Testament, you have all these predictions about the fall of Jerusalem in the last days. So when Jesus says, these are the days in which all things that are written must be fulfilled, what he was saying is, all things foretold concerning the fall of Jerusalem, all things foretold in the Old Testament would be fulfilled. And he makes the statement, all Old Testament prophecy. He does not qualify it, ladies and gentlemen. He says what Jesus was saying was that in the fall of Jerusalem in AD 70, all Old Testament prophecy would be fulfilled. I agree 100%. Do you? But you see, Kenneth Gentry says, well, resurrection wasn't fulfilled in AD 70. We're still looking for the resurrection. And the day of the Lord hasn't come. Well, AD 70 was a sort of kind of day of the Lord, but it was typological of the real one. There's no proof of that. So what Kenneth Gentry says is all Old Testament prophecy was fulfilled in AD 70. But then, strangely enough, he turns around in passage after passage and alludes to the Old Testament prophecies of what he says are yet future events. Do you see the utter, total, self-contradictory nature of what Mr. Gentry is saying? Folks, you can't say all Old Testament prophecy was fulfilled in AD 70 without saying the day of the Lord, the resurrection. the new creation was fulfilled in AD 70. You can't say that, because each one of those tenets is found in the Old Testament. Each one of those prophecies is found in the Old Testament. Let me drive this home. Okay, now remember, the last 2 days, I've shared with you the prophecy of the restoration of Israel, the restoration of Zion, which meant, and it would be the restoration of all 12 tribes. I know that I keep saying that, but that cannot be overemphasized. It can't be. So the restoration of Zion is the restoration of all 12 tribes. Okay. Now watch what happens. After predicting the restoration, by the way, it's also resurrection. Why? Well, because the Lord says, I am going to raise you up. That's resurrection language, ladies and gentlemen. So anyway, notice verse 14. When you see this, when you see what? The restoration of Zion. Oh, and when you see the conversion of the Gentiles. Go back up there and look at that, verse 12. At the time of the restoration of Zion, the glory of the Gentiles will come into Zion. Well, if they're allowed into Zion, then they must be circumcised of heart and of mind. Isaiah 52, verse 1 and 2. And that means they are of Israel. They are now part of the covenant community. So anyway, when you see this, your heart shall rejoice. Watch this. Your bones shall flourish like an herb. And the hand of the Lord shall be known toward his servants, and his indignation toward his enemies. Okay? Salvation versus judgment. Salvation for his servants, who are the meek, the humble, the contrite, the obedient. But it includes the Gentiles. And indignation toward his enemies. Now watch this. For. Now in the Septuagint, the Greek word there is for, or gar, G-A-R. The gar is making and drawing a conclusion or adding something to it, adding a point or points to drive home the point that's just been made. It is a conjunction joining the previous discussion of the redemption of Zion, the calling of the Gentiles, the rewarding of his saints, and the judgment of his enemies. Now notice this conjoining. Okay. What did God say? I'm going to restore Zion. I'm going to call the Gentiles. I'm going to bring peace like a river. I'm going to reward my servants. I'm going to punish my enemies, for behold, the Lord will come with fire, with his chariots, with a whirlwind, to render his anger, with fury, and his rebuke with fire. For by fire and by his sword the Lord will plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord will be many. Oh my goodness gracious. Out of time. But catch this. At the time of the salvation of Zion, at the time of the restoration of the 10 tribes, God would not only call the Gentiles, but he would come in flaming fire. Do you believe the Lord has called the Gentiles to himself? Do you believe the Lord offers peace like a river to the obedient? Do you believe that the Lord rewards those who love him and obey him now? Well, if you said yes to any of those things, I would suggest that you believe Zion has been redeemed. I would suggest also that that means the Lord has come. He came in flaming fire to reward his saints and to judge his enemies. And that means that all futurism, all futurist eschatologies are false. I am completely and totally out of time. Thank you so much for joining me for this morning's Morning Musings. Don't forget, order the 2 books. Do yourself a huge favor and do that. But hey, I forgot to mention 2 Guys in the Bible last night. I apologize for that. But be sure to join Mike Sullivan tonight with me on preterist apologetics. Look, William Bell and I, Mike Sullivan and I, we are having an absolute blast in sharing with you the story of God's faithfulness in keeping his word. You just got to join us and join in the fun. All right? Thanks for joining me. I'll see you on Friday. I'll see you tonight, and I'll see you on Friday.